On this episode of Locked On Angels, John and I paid attention to the series against the Orioles this weekend just for you, and be glad that you didn't because it wasn't good. The Angels got swept by a terrible team. We've got 3 things from 3 games that we noticed this weekend, and we're sharing them with you today. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to give back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Time to subscribe and become a Locked On everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. One of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation.
Happy Monday to you, and thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
We're here 5 days a week talking Angels baseball with you, Monday through Friday, every single weekday. Now, I will say, last Friday, we were all set to talk to Chris Cortez, the 8th-ranked prospect in the Angel system, according to MLB Pipeline. And then StreamYard absolutely fell apart.
You did.
In addition to a lot of other services. So if you don't know, basically everything runs off 2 servers, Google and Amazon. And when one of those goes out, half the internet goes down. So if you were wondering why your Calendly wasn't working on Friday or Thursday, or your StreamYard or whatever, that's why. So we have rescheduled. We're hoping to have that episode out for you this coming Friday, barring any internet collapses, Michael. So with that said, thanks for your patience. Thanks for being here with us on this edition of Locked On Angels. We got to recap this terrible, terrible series between the Baltimore Orioles, just trying to save time, and the Angels, as the Angels fell in Friday's game 2-0. We've got takeaways for each game. I got a takeaway for you, Mike, about this series. You want to hear it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it sucked. That's my takeaway. So let's get into Friday's 2-0 loss.
Yeah, we've got a lot of it sucked moments to talk about. 3 takeaways from Friday's game. Johnny, first, Christian Moore. He debuted. We're all excited about that. Batting 9th and played second base, wearing number 4. Was 0 for 3 with a strikeout in this game. And the strikeout is a part of Christian Moore's game. In AAA, he had a .999 OPS with 4 home runs, and that was in 20 games. He also had a .341 expected WOBA, weighted on base average, and a 9.4 barreling percentage, which is really good. Now, the strikeout is a part of his game. He had a 31.3% whiff rate, and that came up in this game, Johnny. Moore had a chance to make an impact in this game early, but he came up twice with runners in scoring position, wasn't able to come through. He grounded out with runners on base in the top of the 4th, and then he lined out with runners on base in the top of the 7th. Now, Moore, outside of the performance of the game, he was just stoked to be playing in the majors. He said it was unreal, best day of his life. Everything you dreamed about, everything you hear people talk about, the buzz, everything, it was all there. He said the adrenaline, the bright lights, it's all fun. I'm just grateful to be here and able to perform in this uniform and play with these guys. Now, John, the Angels are really hoping that Christian Moore at second base will give them a bit more offensive pop. These second base numbers have been awful, and the production at second base hasn't been great. In 246 plate appearances entering Friday night, Angels second baseman, and it's been a variety of guys, right? Tim Anderson and Rengifo and other people, they're slashing 195, a 263 on base, and a 271 slugging with a 51 weighted runs created plus.
Ugh.
And they have a 0 FanGraph WAR. So that's
I'm surprised that's not negative. Good grief.
It's awful. I'm surprised it's not negative either. But truth is that Christian Moore could be a good answer there at second base. Now we'll talk more about what he did this weekend in the next segment, but in this game was 0 for 3, and he had a strikeout and wasn't able to come through. But if you're going to rely on your young rookie who's not had major league appearances or at bats to get you to win a game, you're in trouble, and the Angels were in trouble on Friday night.
Well, and here's the thing. It's going to take some time for him to adjust to the major league's first 3 games. Well, 2 games, I guess you could say. We'll talk about that one in segment 3. But here's the thing. It's taken, it took Marcelo Mayer a couple of games with the Red Sox. There's been a lot of call-ups this season. Cam Smith, remember, that was all the hype around the Astros. Took him some time to get going as well. So it's going to take some time. But the thing is, Mike, as you mentioned it, the swing and miss is part of his game. This is not going to translate well to the majors. And so, again, better to give more a shot than to run out Kevin Newman every day the way that they've been doing because Moncada's on the IL. Oh, wait, what was that? They played Kevin Newman over Christian Moore on Sunday. We'll talk about that one for sure. Second takeaway, the Angels helped Charlie Morton out in this game. Morton was good, and he had his velocity. I know that he's had an awful start to the season, but over his last 2 starts, now 3, including this one against the Angels, he looked like the Charlie Morton of old. Fun fact, the year that he was drafted was the year that Christian Moore was born, so that's got to make you feel good. Morton, 5 innings with 10 strikeouts, spotting the off-speed stuff on the inside part of the plate to right-handers, pinpoint accuracy. He was the professor on the mound. So really, when it comes to, that big old curveball that starts like it's coming at your head and then it ends up in the strike zone, you can't really fault the Angels for that. However, when he expanded the zone, the Angels went right after it. Anything Morton threw outside the zone, the Angels were chasing. They ended up striking out 15 times in this game. After this one, the strikeout total for the Angels increases to a major league leading total of 664. Steve in our YouTube comments is going to give us a big old fat "told ya." That was his concern coming into the season. And I said, "Look, Steve, they were 19th in strikeouts last year. It wasn't that bad." And here we are in June.
Got to listen to Steve.
Steve G. You can shout me out and say, "John, told ya."
Yeah.
So there you go. They've struck out in 27% of their plate appearances.
Wow.
Here's what Ron Washington had to say. All we have to do is put some runs on the board. We're going to swing and miss. We've got those kinds of guys. We've got guys that are going to swing the bat. Shaunuel doesn't strike out that much. He went down one time tonight. That's who we are. Just got to bounce back tomorrow. Well, bounce back indeed did not happen. The Angels did out-hit the O's in this one, 8-6, but they started out the game with Neto drawing a walk and Shaunuel hitting a single. Trout and Soler follow up with strikeouts looking. And then O'Hoppe struck out swinging. The Angels had 2 on and no outs in the 4th inning too. A strikeout and 2 ground outs spoiled that chance. So again, no productive outs, no momentum shifting moments. The Angels were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 on base. And certainly the rain delays didn't help this one either, Mike. And that's kind of the takeaway from our third takeaway about Jack Kohanowitz, isn't it?
Yeah, he made 2 bad pitches in this game, and it cost him the game. Kohanowitz lasted just 4 1/3, but it was because of the rain delay. It was almost more than an hour rain delay in the 5th inning. And then there was a 67-minute delay before first pitch as well. So a lot of sitting around, a lot of waiting. Now, Kohanowitz wasn't bad before the rain came. He did throw 2 bad pitches, a slider to Ryan O'Hearn in the 2nd, and then a changeup to Angel Killer Ramon Laureano in the 5th.
Should have known we were going to get swept when we saw that Laureano was on the Orioles, right?
Yeah.
So, and here's my thing, Mike. You mentioned 2 bad pitches. And this is where I have long said this, going back a couple of seasons now. I don't mind when a pitcher makes a mistake pitch and they give up a solo home run like Kohanowitz did here. He gave up 2 solo home runs. The reason why I don't mind it is because what I hate is walking the bases loaded and going 0-2 to 3-2 and giving up a walk. And Kohanowitz has struggled with that this season. However, in this one, he wasn't struggling with that one. And he made mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. But to me, I would rather see, a solo home run. That sucks. Instead of having constant traffic all over the base paths, that is your own doing, rather than making a mistake up in the zone. And that's exactly what these pitches were, weren't they?
Yeah, and he was not bad. He's been bad his last couple of starts. This start wasn't that bad. And gosh, if you get down 2-0, don't you think the offense could come back and do something for you?
Yeah,
right?
the free swinging, striking out, home run hitting halos couldn't do anything against the Orioles.
They had 8 hits in this game, but every time they got runners on, they fell apart. Now, Kohanowitz, he struck out 2. Big key, John, is he didn't walk anyone in this game, and that's why that's why it was a better start for him. He said it was a step in the right direction. He said, I'm back to myself. That's a good one to build off of. Obviously, the rain cutting it short, that was frustrating, but it's where I want to be, just trying to stay right there. Now, Konowitz recorded 7 outs on 6 ground balls, which is classic Jack Konowitz. Needed just 53 pitches to get 13 outs. So he could have gone deep into this game because that was 4 to 3rd, and he was at 53 pitches. Maybe he gets up to 60, 65 pitches by the end of 4. He could go into the 7th, maybe, or into the 6th, maybe 7th inning. Now, Wash said that Konowitz was getting ground balls. He was working fast. He could have got into the 5th inning, could have gotten further than that, only had about 50 pitches. We just didn't support him because we just couldn't put runs on the board. I really liked what he did in this game, John. He relied on his sinker, which is something that he does, but he didn't throw the meatball pitch with that sinker. 62% of the time he threw the sinker. But John, he threw the changeup again, not as much as he did against the Dodgers when he was really good, but 17% of the time he threw the changeup, and it looked good. It was able to keep hitters off balance. He got a lot of swings and misses, though, on his slider. Only threw it 15% of the time, but he did have 4 called strikes plus whiffs with the slider, and he was somebody that looked like the old Jack Konowitz, the one that was in control of the strike zone and not losing control and walking a lot of guys. And that's why it was 2-0 by the time he left and by the time the rain came. And you think, again, the Angels going to be able to come back because this isn't an insurmountable amount of runs, and it knocked out Charlie Morton as well. They had to go up against Baltimore's bullpen, but that wasn't even something that the Angels could overcome at the end of this game.
And that's the thing is the Baltimore Orioles, just trying to save time, they have a good bullpen. They have guys that can keep it close, and that's exactly what happened in this one. Mike, Konowitz is going for the Angels again, scheduled to go on Wednesday against the Yankees. He's going to face Ryan Yarbrough, who, remember, he was throwing that lefty slider in and touching the corners there. He got a little help from the umpires, but at the same time, the Angels let him walk all over them when they were in Anaheim. So, yeah. If this is a step in the right direction for Jack Konowitz, that's a very good thing. We were buttercupped, I guess you could say, when it comes to this Konowitz start, because, again, he could have gone deeper. It could have been a much better start. I think it was a much better start. Like, again, it was traffic on the bases was not happening. It was the solo home runs. I'll take that, 9 times out of 10, because, again, the Angels' Achilles heel has been allowing free base runners and letting them run all over them on the base path. So it was a nice change of pace for Jack Konowitz. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction for him. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up, game 2 and 3, very winnable games, but the Halos, let them slip away. We're going to share how and give you our takeaways from games 2 and 3 coming right up.
If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. And when you think about it, what was the last time you had an emergency, service emergency, like a pipe burst? And if you called the plumber and he didn't answer, you didn't wait. You just moved on and you called the next one. And that's why you need a reliable business line. It's so important for your business. And that's why OpenPhone is here for you. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Ever juggle 2 phones? That's annoying. You're just trying to keep the business going. You have your personal calls, you have your business calls, trying to keep them separated. OpenPhone solves that problem for you instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more who's handling this, who's taking care of this. And they have an AI agent that handles after-hour calls, answers commonly asked questions, and captures leads so that you never miss a customer again. And OpenPhone is offering Locked On Angel listeners 20% off your first 6 months, not even 6 days or 6 weeks, your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you've ever had existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. So you have all the reasons in the world to check out OpenPhone. openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. OpenPhone, no missed calls and no missed customers.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We're continuing our conversation and all of the discussion that has come out of this weekend as we break down each loss the Angels had against the Baltimore Orioles, or the Baltimore Orioles, just trying to save time. Mike, 3 things we need to talk about from Saturday's game as the Angels lost this one 6-5. And this is something that I tweeted from Locked On Angels. Somebody thought it was you, and I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, the handle's right there under your name, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
First of all the criticism that Kyle Hendricks gets for he's a meatball pitcher, he does this, he does that, that needs to go Tyler Anderson's way. He was given the lead in this game twice, and failed 2 times.
Yeah,
and failed to get a shutdown inning. And the biggest failure came in the 6th inning when the Angels got one of 2 Rengifo homers.
Yeah, how about that?
In the top of the 6th. What in the world? Rengifo all of a sudden decided, I'm going to play now.
Right.
I see that you called up Christian Moore, so I want to keep my spot. Anderson gives it right back in the bottom of the 6th. How did it start? A leadoff walk to Ramon Laureano. Cedric Mullins hits a 2-run home run. It was a first pitch changeup right over the middle of the plate. Anderson said he was trying to get ahead with the changeup to Mullins. He said the way he was swinging early in the game, you feel like you get a foul ball or a take, and I just hung it up. Then he follows up by giving a second home run up to Gary Sanchez, who I didn't realize was still in the league.
Right.
Anderson threw him a 3-2 changeup. Again, right over the middle of the plate, Michael. Anderson gave up 6 hits and 6 runs in this game. Here's the thing. He posted a 2.58 ERA across his first 8 starts. Now, over his last 6 starts, has a 7.28 ERA over those 6 starts. So now he's somewhere in between that really great ERA and that not so great ERA. And the Baltimore Orioles, trying to save time, they entered with an MLB worst 557 OPS against lefties. So you think, all right, we can send a lefty to the mound. This is good news. The Orioles also had lost 15 of their first 19 games against lefty starters. But in this one, Tyler Anderson could not stop them.
Right.
He said, I feel like everything right now is a hit.
Yep.
Felt like earlier this year. Yeah. No, surprise, right? It's not anything else but a hit there, Tyler. I feel like earlier in the year, if they hit the balls they were at guys, I don't know if the contact has changed or not, but it just feels like right now every ball that gets put in play is a hit, whether that's lucky, unlucky, bad pitches, good pitch that's softly hit, it falls. If it's a bad pitch and it gets hit hard, it falls. If it's a good pitch and it gets hard, it falls. It may be the contact that has changed. The O's average exit velocity on Saturday versus Anderson's fastball was 99 miles an hour with a max velo of 109 miles an hour. So yeah, something tells me it's the way you're putting those pitches in there. Oh, I don't know. Over the plate, Tyler. It seems as though teams are really hitting him harder instead of the typical soft contact that Anderson induces, right?
Yeah. Second takeaway, Johnny, is the Angels offense wasn't really any better in this game. I know that they scored 5 runs, but they struck out 10 times. So 25 strikeouts in 2 games. And in this game, they did it again with runners on base. They struck out with runners on base in the 1st inning, in the 5th inning, twice in the 7th inning, and then in the 9th inning to end the game. They were swinging and missing, or they were watching pitches go across the plate. Non-productive at bats for the Angels. That's their kryptonite, right?
Yeah.
Superman's coming out soon, so I had to use that reference. But that's their kryptonite to this team's offense. They have to have productive outs. And I know that Rengifo had 2 home runs, and it was good to see. And I know that Mike Trout hit a 2-run home run in the 1st inning to get everything started, and that was great to see. But those in-between at-bats, they swung and missed a lot over and over and over again. And Tyler Anderson needs that run support because he has just not been good. And, John, it leads to the third thing, and it's something that I would love to talk with you about. Logan O'Hoppe. Logan O'Hoppe has to be in there nearly every day.
Yeah.
And Lamont Wade Jr. doesn't.
Right.
So Ron Washington, can you please get Logan O'Hoppe in there and not have Lamont Wade Jr. in there as often as you're putting him in there? John, I think O'Hoppe's struggles at the plate has a lot to do with his inconsistent playing time. I know last year.
You think? Yeah.
Right? I know last year he was tired, right? But this O'Hoppe, this version of playing O'Hoppe hasn't been great. And with Trout DHing, it's really taken a lot of at-bats out of O'Hoppe's hands because when he's not catching, he's not playing. Travis d'Arnaud has been catching a lot lately due to his hot bat, and they want to do a matchup for who's on the mound. I mean, O'Hoppe wasn't even in there yesterday, and I don't think this is about rest for O'Hoppe. I think it's about consistency and getting at bats regularly, and I think that's a big reason why you've seen O'Hoppe just fall off a cliff the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, and he's not doing himself any favors with his defense behind the dish, but how do you get better at it, Mike? You got to be in the games to get better behind the dish. And so to see O'Hoppe sitting as much as he has, having the inconsistent at-bats, what are you doing? This is your future. Travis d'Arnaud is fantastic. He is not the future of this team. He's going to be here next year as the backup to O'Hoppe, keyword backup, not the primary catcher. This is like if you had Max Stassi and O'Hoppe on the team and you started Stassi all the time, right? Like, he's not the future of the team. O'Hoppe is. So quit messing around and sitting him and not even getting him in there at DH. It's the inconsistent at bats that have really failed him. And let me address Lamont Wade Jr.
Yeah, please.
Because everything that we talked about that he could bring to the table for an Angels team that strikes out a bajillion times, he's not doing.
No.
He went over 4 striking out. And then after Saturday's game, he was 0 for 6, and he's in there 2 games in a row.
Right.
Like, there's a reason
why
they call him late night Lamont, and that's because he comes in a pinch hit situation, comes off the bench in a situation where you have maybe a righty lefty matchup where he's a lefty and he can get a hit and maybe get you the lead or whatever. No, instead, we're going to start him 2 nights in a row, and the day after he goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Tell me there's not an Angels stink that runs off on everybody, that rubs off on everybody. It's like the BBO in Seinfeld, where it's like beyond BO. It rubbed off on Lamont Wade Jr. because, again, we talked about it when he got signed. Hey, this is a guy who's got a great eye at the plate. He takes walks. He'll work an at bat. Did he do any of those things over the weekend in his 2 starts?
Not at all.
Absolutely not. And it comes back to, what are we doing? What are we telling these guys to do? What is the approach? It just boggles my mind that he was in there 2 nights in a row.
Well, and Wash needs to know that they're not in a playoff hunt. So that's why you got to have O'Hoppe in there and not d'Arnaud. You're not in a playoff hunt. And having Wade in there, you're not in a playoff hunt. And not even the fact that Wade would be a help to that. But, like, you're not in a playoff hunt, man. Like, these guys are just pieces that should be in there. And then the other thing that was really frustrating is Wade Jr. is batting in the lower part of the lineup with Rengifo and Christian Moore. Now, I know Rengifo had 2 hits the first night and had the 2 home runs this night, but like, he hasn't been good. So your 7, 8, and 9 guys are 2 guys that are really struggling, and then Christian Moore, who's trying to figure it out. And so it was just a hole in this lineup. Remember the Juan Lagares years, John, like just a couple of years ago?
No, I forgot about those. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. You're going to puke in your mouth a little bit because that was when we just had major holes in this lineup.
Yeah.
And the 7, 8, and 9 are just not fantastic when you have Wade Jr. in there, and then you have a Christian Moore who's trying to figure things out. Now, he was 0 for 3 and had a walk in this game, but he did strike out twice. And again, 31% K rate in AAA. So he's not going to help the lower part of this lineup. He is working counts, so I'll give him credit. He did strike out in his first at bat, but he had a 2-2 count. He chased a splitter out of the zone. It was Sagano's best pitch. But again, you're putting this guy in a situation where you have 2 guys ahead of him who are not making an impact. And if there's runners on, suddenly it's up to Christian Moore. There was no mixing and matching in this lineup at all. And then to have Logan O'Hoppe in there occasionally, it's just silly and ridiculous. And listen, I get it. I totally get it. Mike Trout is not ready to play the outfield, and we'll talk about that this week. But that doesn't mean that you have Logan O'Hoppe play occasionally. Yeah. Have Lamont Wade Jr. played more this weekend than Logan O'Hoppe?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it that way.
What are we doing?
Mike, I'm going to flip a coin, and however it lands, heads, O'Hoppe's in, tails, he's out, right? That's what it feels like with this team right now.
Hey, get the supplies you need from the site that's made for skilled trades at supplyhouse.com. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. They have an easy-to-use website packed with helpful resources and latest product info. It's going to help you get the job done right. Their inventory has over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands. So you're going to find exactly what you need. It's going to be delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with any order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading services. So you're always going to talk to a real person. And if you're a trade pro, you can get an extra edge. They have a free Trade Master program where you can become a trade master with Supply House. The beauty of this Trade Master program is it offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. And you can join the free Trade Master program at supplyhouse.com/TM. And if you're ordering plumbing, HVAC, or electrical supplies, just do it in a few clicks at supplyhouse.com and use our promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. And again, supplyhouse.com.
Do you think Craig Breslow is a trade master, considering he traded Devers to the Giants? It was Father's Day yesterday. That was a layup. Come on. Mike, Sunday's game. Do we have to talk about? Yes, we do. We have to talk about it. They lost this one 11-2.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That looks worse than it actually is.
Yeah. It wasn't that game, right? It wasn't a blowout.
Right.
It was a competitive game for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But then the reason it wasn't competitive is because of the three things that this game told us about. First, the defense was awful in yesterday's game. Kevin Newman has a first inning error that leads to the O's first runs. Kikuchi gave up a home run to Ramon Urias on a hanging slider in the sixth inning, trailing 3-2. Cedric Mullins drops a perfect bunt down the third baseline. Kikuchi picked it up, threw it into the right field corner, allowing a run to score. Who was there to back it up? Nobody. Because Jorge Soler was watching the play happen and didn't realize that he had to be the one to go and get it. Another situation was Taylor Ward allowing, I think it was Gunnar Henderson, to run the bases and get home. And Jeff Fletcher tweeted that after that play, Taylor Ward seemed to have gotten an earful from Bo Porter because he let the ball bounce to him. He didn't charge it in left field, and that's what he always does, right?
It was not even what he always does. It looked like he was chasing a feather landing in front of him. He was like
a butterfly.
Honestly, it was just like tippy toe, walking towards the ball. And then it was kind of like he was playing defense around the ball. Like they were going to try to kick a goal behind him. And so he kind of moved in to the side and then did this and then walked up and picked it up. I mean, it was literally like he was chasing a feather. And then he threw it in like he was on the Sandlot with the Sandlot boys from the movie The Sandlot. Like couldn't even lob it in, just kind of barely threw it in. It was just the most lazy play I've ever seen from Taylor Ward. And I know he's a neutral outfielder and his numbers say that he's not bad out there. But here's why he's not bad, because he is extremely cautious. Yeah. He is way too cautious. And Bo Porter needs to lay into him because that runner, Gunnar Henderson, went from second to third, and the third base coach was going to stop him. But then he watched Taylor Ward field that ball, and he went, go. And he sent Gunnar Henderson home, and he didn't stop. And then Taylor Ward didn't even attempt to throw the runner out at home, didn't even attempt to throw the ball to third. He threw it into the cutoff man at short. Yeah. It was just the laziest.
And it was like 8 feet. The cutoff man was like 8 feet in front of him, too.
Yes. It was the laziest, most apathetic play. Yeah. And that's why Taylor Ward is always going to be Taylor Ward and nothing more. Because he plays. I don't know what was going through his mind there. But I know that you can teach skill. You can't teach will. Taylor Ward has no will at all because it's just nonchalant, and it's not Garrett Anderson. So let's not compare him to Garrett Anderson like some people have. Garrett Anderson played really great left field and right field and was an incredible hitter and an Angels Hall of Famer. This is different than Garrett Anderson. Yeah. Taylor Ward is just so he's a delicate genius out
aloof.
there.
Aloof
is the perfect word because he is just dancing around the ball so it doesn't get by him. And that's why when he does make a diving stop or he tries to dive for something, we're amazed by that. He should have gotten an earful, and I'm glad that Bo Porter let the expletives fly because this was a pathetic play.
Son of a bang, son of a boom.
Yeah.
The Angels, Mike, our second topic here. The Angels had a chance in this game and they didn't come through. That felt like the narrative throughout this whole game.
What?
Top of the 7th, Taylor Ward singles, Jorge Soler takes a walk, and then an out later, Luis Rengifo singles, and the bases are loaded. Joe Adell takes a called third strike.
Mm-hmm.
Then, for some reason, Christian Moore was in the on-deck circle, but then Ron Washington said, oh, let's go to the lefty. Let's go to Lamont Wade Jr. again, get him into the game. Yeah. And what does he do? Called out on strike 2, and it was like a little half swing. Didn't even commit, right? Didn't even swing through it. Just did a half swing. Wash said, we had the opportunities in all 3 games. They did what they needed to do to win it, and we didn't do it when we needed to win. What? Can somebody check on Ron, please? This is, like, between these decisions, I think there was a moment where he could have had Taylor Ward pinch hit on Friday night. Jorge Soler could have pinch hit the other night, and then we hear stuff like this. Is Ron okay? I mean, God bless him. Doing his job at 74 years. Are you okay, bro? Are you okay?
Here's what's happening. He was managing game to game for the last week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back to the Ron Washington that he was close to the beginning of the year, where he's overthinking things, overthinking things.
Gotta get Newman in there. Gotta get him going.
Right.
He's
You're
not
way
going.
overthinking.
Newman
He's not going.
is not going.
He's not going anywhere. Up, down, left, right. He's not going anywhere. John, here's the only good news from this weekend. And this may not seem like good news, but it was good news to me.
Hit me.
This weekend proved that this team has to sell at the deadline.
Oh, fire sale.
Yes.
You know me.
Yep.
I am fully committed to the fact that if this team, the way it was constructed, came into this season and had good decision-making and not terrible swing for the fences coaching, this could have been a team that sneaks into the playoffs. But after this weekend, I would love to see a sell-off. There better be a sell-off. I don't care if they're 59 and 92 or whatever the numbers would be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would rather see them sell off than try to make something of it because they have so much stuff to sell, don't they?
Yeah, they have a lot of good pieces, and I don't know if they recognize that or not. At least Wash doesn't recognize that. He said, we got to go to New York. We got to get back on track, right? Like we haven't lost confidence in that room, and we got to get back on track. We're not panicking, and that's what Nolan Shonowell said. We're not panicking. We had a bad series with this group of guys. We're going to bounce back quick, going to New York. Hopefully, we're going to make a statement early. We've got 4 there. Then we come home, we play the Astros, and we set the tone for the division. I love all of that. Like, yeah. But truth is, like, you got swept and outscored by the Orioles 19-7 in 3 games, and the team was 27-40 entering this series. That's bad.
That's bad. Mike, we failed to mention, too, that Nolan gets himself a first inning home run, a big boy home run. So there's your lead, and where did it go? Oh, right out the window, just like everything else. No shutdown innings, no shutdown bones in any of the starting pitchers' bodies. Drives me absolutely insane.
Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. You can find that show on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts.
Happy first Father's Day, John. Here's a sweep of your favorite team by the Baltimore Orioles. Great. Thanks, Angels. Appreciate
Wonderful.
that.
Good. Great. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus.
Give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and also at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to today's show on YouTube. Let's hear it. Come on. We got to hear from you because we got to vent, so we need you guys to vent as well. Mike, what do we have on deck for Tuesday's show?
John, Rafi Devers was traded, and I saw a lot of people say, man, the Giants got him for nothing. Where were the Angels in this? So let's talk about that trade, and then let's talk about why it may have not been a good idea for the Angels to make this trade, or maybe perhaps it was a good idea. I'm in the category, well, you know what? We'll talk about it tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Save it for the show. Come on. It's a tease. It's a trailer. There's a show. That's a show. All right, friends, we hope you come back and join us. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Yankees.
They got swept.
Yeah.